So the investment policy was included in your packets. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to, or just the. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
If everybody's digging through stuff looking for it.
And again, I think it goes back to that safety, liquidity, yield, or that, and it, obviously the standards of care, working with a group like Edward Jones, Bruce.
Now, is he our only investment person?
Correct.
We deal, okay, specifically with.
But we also work with Bremer Bank as well. So we do work with multiple.
Okay, so since that was in our packet, we've all had an opportunity to read through it, now kind of looked it over.
You don't need to accept it, it's,
Okay,
that is the.
Yeah,
finance
I think the important thing is as you said, safety, liquidity, and yield. And just reading from it, yield, the NSH investment portfolio shall be designed with the objective of attaining a market rate of return.
it's gotta be pretty close.
Yeah, okay, hello. The investment portfolio shall be designed with the objective of obtaining a market rate of return. The core of investments is limited to low-risk securities in anticipation of earning a fair return relative to the risk being assumed. Securities shall generally be held until maturity with the following exceptions. A security with declining credit may be sold to minimize loss of principal. The security swap would improve the quality, yield, or target duration of the portfolio. Liquidity needs of the portfolio require the security be sold. So it's consistent with what Bruce was saying. That's in our policy. So.
If I could add something, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
When I'm presenting the financials and I tell you, here's what our revenue was, that's the patient revenue. Here's our expenses. The difference between the two of those is either gonna be a net profit or a net loss of operations. Just patient revenue compared to our operating expenses. When we get down to what our net profit or our net loss is, it's because we're able to add in whether we received interest or dividends back on those investments. And we've been really good these last couple months. Our investments have helped with that offsetting loss that we've had from operations. So when I say that we're projecting to have a loss of $400,000, but I'm happy to report we don't have a loss of $100,000, the difference of that, part of it is being made up on the investments that we have.
Okay. Just have to scroll through it back to my. Oh, the MHA legislation.
I'm trying.
Okay.
That's good. I don't know if it's them or us, cause, we tried yesterday and it had some challenges, but then when I did it previously, it just popped right up.
Back on.
Hmm?
Leave the projector back on.
Only if I can get it to work. This is not coming up. Minnesota Hospital Association. It's almost like, I know it's thinking, but it's, usually it thinks faster than that, which is gonna be the problem, it'll buffer and.
Okay, I'll let you buffer. Patty, you were going to look into the possibility of us meeting up at Grand Portage. Have you had an opportunity to do that?
I've called and left a message with Mike and I haven't heard back from him yet.
Okay.
And my understanding now is for June instead of May, so I am working on that.
Okay.
I had talked to Kimber about which facility, it's either getting hold of the travel council and see if we can use the community building, the old log building for free, or down to the lodge, and the lodge will have a fee, but I don't know what it is. And then there'll be questions about, do we want coffee service and all of that, so I'll get some quotes from him, and then I will, bring it to May's meeting.
Do either both have internet access?
They all have internet
Okay.
access, they all have, they have a good IT department, and there's mics, you know, and it works really well, so. And that they have, internet too, and they have mics at the old community, at the outlaw building too, so.
Okay, I think it looks like we can move into the management report then, if we can't get our video going.
Yeah. Yeah.
The video, Mary Krinky from the Minnesota Hospital Association has done a couple of updates on legislative stuff, and I think it was like 6 or 7 minutes. And we were gonna try to give that information for us, but technology can always be challenging.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it keeps thinking, and I'm trying both Google and, Google Chrome and the other one, and it's not working, and it will not.
Okay, so let's hit the management report, and I know that since you're playing with that, it's hard for you to
I'm not
think
ever
of it.
playing with
Okay.
it, cause it's not working. All right. So we have the management report. I did put in information about, the advocacy and legislative update, things that we hopefully would have heard a little more color commentary from Mary Krinky from the Hospital Association. Couple of things, though, legislative, the, legislative bills have been put in, one to address an increase for wages in the nursing homes, and the other one to address the 21 delay payment in nursing homes. That does not seem to be, neither of those legislations seem to be advancing at all. We'll see what happens at the end, toward the end of the session. Workforce, the Nursing Home Workforce Standards Boards continues to have conversations. One of the concerns, however, is that they can set standards, but they also cannot set reimbursement. And so, as we said, the legislature is the one that determines the reimbursement, so that will be a continued discussion. On the Hospital Association, there's legislation that is looking at inflation and rebasing, particularly for Medicaid. That's a big issue. There's also some legislation about priority admissions to ANOCA, to the behavioral health units, because right now, jail inmates get priority over healthcare people. And while we have not had that, there are some organizations that have had behavioral health patients in their facilities for close to a year, and that is a problem. It's also a problem when we're trying to get people out of our organization down to another behavioral health unit, and they don't have space because they are dealing with long-term, often violent individuals. There's also funding for EMS and ambulance services that is moving through, not at the level that was proposed, but there's some funding there. And Senator Hochschild was actually supportive of that and introduced that legislation. There are areas of concern. There is a bill that would allow a nurse to refuse a patient assignment. That is kind of concerning, particularly on the hospital side, in the fact that there's still EMTALA, and that it would allow one individual to make a decision with regard to care of the patient. There's also the mandated behavioral health crisis intervention teams, which would require 4 individuals with no patient assignments beyond that in each facility. There is some information about requirements for closures and service line closures. They're wanting to extend that length of time. And again, hospital and service line closures only. There's specific legislation with regard to nursing home closures. It also is, there's a new commission that's being proposed, and that is I think, concern. It's just adding just more administrative responsibility to that. Did share that Maurice Zimmer and Hillia Iverson are both leaving their positions. Hillia has been accepted into her into a child welfare scholar fellowship program at UNB, and so we'll be moving forward with getting her master's degree in social work. So we're pleased for her, and Maurice is going to retire and spend a little bit more time with her family as they're getting older. Usually. Jail meals, we did talk about, we are doing jail meals now, not that we really want to, frankly. However, they didn't have any other options, and they being the jail. So they had come to us. One thing that we did say is that we are meeting the Minnesota Statute 144 requirements, and that we are not going to assume the responsibility for jail statutes. We've got enough with 144, so that is theirs. We did have leadership education recently, a week and a half ago, with Paul Laney and Mary Philippi, their PDL Connect Consulting, and kind of did a drive the road training and actually had opportunities to do some practice, so that was good. We are very excited to report that Northshore Health was awarded a $110,000 rural capital improvement grant, so thank you to Lori and Melissa for their work on that particular grant. And then the High Value Network that you heard about back in December, that continues to move forward, and we are again sharing information with them. And then the trustee conference there's information in your packets about that. And I had put if you're interested in attending, let me know. If you could let me know by May 24th versus June. And the reason is that we have to have your hotel rooms by June 24th, but we get the early bird discount by May 24th. So I'd rather do the early bird discount if we can. I also passed out and shared with you, we are starting to now work on the articles, monthly articles. And so we did the first one talking about advocacy and the importance of advocacy with our legislators, but also the fact that some of us are subject matter experts, and so please also refer them to us. And so would like to thank Todd for first starting it and then sending it around to all of you for your inputs to all of those. And that is all I have.
I have a quick question here. With Hillia being the only person doing the social work piece of it, are we gonna have enough time, hopefully, to hire somebody, to get somebody in place before she moves on?
We have, we've advertised that position, and we do not have to have a social worker, it can be a designee, and so we are opening that up to a broader option.
Okay, do we have other items on our agenda that we need to discuss? Wow, maybe we need to go out to various places more often.
Connection timed out.
I have a question, is that allowed?
Yeah,
No,
we've not.
Sorry.
Put it in
You can
writing.
talk to us
Do
afterwards.
you want a piece of paper and a pen?
I have it, thank you.
Okay.
All right, so if there is nothing else, I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we'll see you all next month in the boardroom at the hospital for our auditor's report. Yes, Lori, they will be ready?
Yes,
Okay.
I talked with the auditors this week and they're wrapping things up.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all for heading up the trail. It's kind of a nice day, at least it wasn't raining and yucky for your drive.
No snow.